I'm gonna be very controversial. I'm gonna give you my Steam Deck review after using it. There we go. After using it for 1 year, it's now been a year since I bought my Steam Deck, and I'm also gonna tell you why I like it more than my Nintendo Switch. So for the longest time, I've honestly been procrastinating doing this, mainly because I couldn't choose between the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck. Contrary to most people on YouTube, I'm not much of a, oh my god, let's stir up the pot, let's get all this controversy going for views, whatever. I prefer to be like, whatever you guys want and not be super loud with my opinion. But I still wanted to make this video because I've just been thinking about it a lot, and I just noticed that especially after this year, on the daily, I barely touch my Nintendo Switch. Honestly, barely touch it anymore. It's gathering dust over here. If I'm handheld gaming, it is 99% of the time on my Steam Deck. And that just got me thinking like, okay, why do I sort of unconsciously reach for the Steam Deck all the time? So let's dive into it. So first of all, just briefly, if you are not familiar with what the Steam Deck is, this is what it looks like. Mine has a cute little sticker decal on it. It's a handheld gaming device, as you can see. The name also already suggested. It has Steam on it. I'm not a technical person. Last time I made a Steam Deck video, I got all these tech bros being like, actually, I don't care, okay? Don't even bother. This is not a tech review. This is my personal user review of this thing as a chill, cozy, wholesome, I don't know, casual gamer. So anyway, this is especially good for all of my chill, cozy gamers out there because you get to play all of your PC games that you play on Steam handheld instead, on the couch, curled up in front of the TV. Perfection. This is always something that I've wanted, mainly because what I think is lacking with the Nintendo Switch is a lot of games aren't available on a Nintendo Switch, or if they are, they run horribly. Not all of them. Definitely a lot of games also do look good on Nintendo Switch, but lots of PC games that later get ported to the Nintendo Switch definitely don't perform as well as they would have on the Nintendo Switch. That's just something that has been really lacking for me. Something I've been wanting for so long. And so when I finally got a PC, at first I was really happy. I finally had a PC. I could play all of these cool games and look at the beautiful graphics, but I am just not a sit at my desk every hour, every day person, especially not because I also work at this desk. I want to be done with work, get away from this space, and like completely just decompress. And I feel like I really can't do that in the same space. I'm not as comfortable as I would be on the couch or in bed too. I noticed that I would also want to watch like a show with my partner, for example. If I did that, I couldn't play a game. But like we both have some neurodivergent tendencies and we love to do something by ourselves and watch the show together. So I usually like read or play a video game, and he also plays games, and we watch a show together, and that's how we like to do that. But I kept thinking about like my PC games that I wanted to play. So when I heard that the Steam Deck was gonna release, I was so excited. It is not perfect, but it has fulfilled this role for me so incredibly well. I have a little portable PC with me, and I can play my favorite PC games, like almost all of them I can play on the Steam Deck, which is just amazing. I want to delve into some like pros and cons and what I've noticed, why I like it more than Nintendo Switch. And the one thing that I think the Nintendo Switch does a lot better, I guess there's two things. There's two things that make the Nintendo Switch still worth it in my opinion to keep on buying like new consoles from Nintendo too, and to still use to this day. My favorite thing about the Steam Deck is actually the fact that the creators of this thing are actively really working so hard to make sure that it's very optimized for as many games as possible. So there's developers that will actually make sure that their game is, you know, has all of the controller layouts and will be Steam Deck verified, but sometimes controllers don't have the resources or the time, energy, attention for it, and then there's still lots of options to tweak the game on your end. So you can maybe imagine that if there's a PC game that uses a keyboard and mouse layout, it's not as easy to just start playing it on the Steam Deck because the controls will not work as intended. So there's lots of options, very easy accessible options. You can just go into your settings, let the Steam Deck do its thing, and just like apply the sort of layout and see if that will work. For me, that has made so many games playable that didn't have controller support yet. If it has controller support, even better. Because then you can just straight up play it with no issues. What I've noticed is I can play games in such high quality. This thing is so good for its price tag, which is another thing that I absolutely love about the Steam Deck. Because you might be thinking, at least I was, when I first heard about this, I was like, that's gotta be so expensive. I probably will not be able to afford this. Now, this is not cheap. The Nintendo Switch is cheaper, But honestly, the price point is not that much. I think for me, I paid 100 euros more for my Steam Deck than I did for my Nintendo Switch OLED when it first released. I paid low end of 300 euros for my Nintendo Switch, and I paid 420 euros including shipping for my Steam Deck, and I got it within the week that I ordered it as well. So I think that that is really pretty affordable if you consider that I paid over 1,000 euros for my gaming PC, and it allows me to play so many of my PC games. Oh, I was like, what's happening? But Nafi was getting up. Okay. But yeah, I can play so many of my PC games on here. I got the cheapest model and it works perfectly fine for me. I just pop in an SD card with extra storage. No issues whatsoever. So I think the price point is really fair, very affordable, especially now that we see some other competitors coming on the market. The reason I have not looked into any of those so I could maybe review and compare them is because they're hella expensive. I do not have like 700 euros to just be like, let me buy this competitor and see which one is better. So this is just honestly amazing for the price, and I would definitely recommend just getting the cheapest one. So next up is the extensive library of games that you can play on this. If it's a Steam game, chances are I would say like I can play about 80% of my Steam library, all of the Steam games that I own, I can play on the Steam Deck. Now, some of these might not be entirely optimized, so sometimes it gets a little frustrating. Many of the issues, and I think the only issues I've run into if they're not optimized, is that the controller support will not work, and it's so much tweaking to get everything converted, but it is very possible. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing it or trying to remember what I remapped so it will work. And then sometimes the letters and the keyboard, like the keyboard won't pop up by itself, and letters are super, super small to read. So those are basically my issues, but for me that does not mean I cannot play the game on the Steam Deck. So I'm just kind of amazed by the amazing amount of games that I can play on this. You can also make use of Steam sales. Oh my god, I just hit myself in the face with that thing. You can make use of Steam sales, and you can also play a lot of the games that are on Nintendo Switch on here as well, but a lot more affordable because they're usually more affordable to start out with. I think it's more expensive for developers to get their games on Nintendo Switch, which is why prices are usually higher. I'm not sure, but one thing I'm sure of is that prices are usually higher on the Nintendo Switch. So that's another great thing about the Steam Deck. I have games on here that I've played so much, and I pay like 5 euros for them. But the biggest reason why I love the Steam Deck more than the Nintendo Switch is the fact that I can play all of the games I want to play on my couch, and they perform well. That is everything together, which makes me not pick up my Nintendo Switch. I prefer the Nintendo Switch, like it's very light, it's super portable, and it works better when I'm on the go, basically. We'll get into why I still prefer the Nintendo Switch for that one a bit more later. But my issue with the Nintendo Switch is that lots of games I want to play aren't on the Switch or aren't on the Switch yet and will come eventually. I have had so many comments already talking about games like Coral Island, Sunhaven, recently Palia, where everyone is just dying for it to get to the Nintendo Switch and you won't be able to play it. You'll only be able to play it on PC and just wanting to play it handheld. Except for Palia, I can play all of these games on my Steam Deck, and I've been playing all of these games handheld for months already. I don't have to wait. I don't have to be like, oh, never mind, it's not for Nintendo Switch, I guess I can't get this game. Like, it has opened up so many new games for me. There's so many more games I get to play now. So even if you don't own a PC, you don't own a gaming laptop, the Steam Deck is such a perfect thing to go for, especially if your budget is tight and you prefer to game on your couch or in your bed. Like, I cannot recommend this thing enough if that's the type of gamer you are. There's also lots of indie games that will never get ported to the Nintendo Switch, or maybe if they do, they just are horrible on the Nintendo Switch, that are so perfect for the Steam Deck as well. So that is like my biggest reason why I keep reaching for my Steam Deck. I have all the games that I want to play. I have them on there. And the only reason, so I guess now we can get into the two downsides, that I'm still using my Nintendo Switch is for the Nintendo exclusives. Really, the games I can't play on Steam. So it's mainly like Animal Crossing, Pokemon. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 on the Steam Deck every evening, and although I do prefer it on PC, it's still amazing to just lay in my bed and play Baldur's Gate 3 super comfortably. Like, that's just so amazing to me. This thing cannot be beat. But yeah, Nintendo exclusives are the reason I still do reach for my Nintendo Switch every now and then, and also the reason I will still keep on buying Nintendo consoles, because I love Nintendo games so much, and I'm hoping we'll also see a bigger trend of developers having an easier time porting their games to the Nintendo Switch too. My Steam Deck is kind of horrible when you're out of the house. So inside the house, I love her. She's perfection. I do not want to change anything about her. Outside of the house, she's big. she's heavy, but besides that, the battery life is not good, especially if you're playing games that are a little bit more graphically intense. I wouldn't even attempt to play Baldur's Gate 3 without like a charging port nearby. That sucks the life out of this thing. But also games like Disney Dreamlight Valley, I could play it for like barely any amount of time. But the other issue I'm having is internet connection. This might be a me thing, I don't know, because I couldn't find too much about it online, but my Steam Deck has the worst time connecting to my hotspot. Even though I have a very good internet connection, it still has a really hard time connecting to a new Wi-Fi source or to a hotspot. Even if it does, it will often just not let me play any of my online games that require online connectivity, which is annoying. That combined with how bulky it is and the battery life make this actually not ideal for me to take with you on like your commute or whatever. It kind of depends. If you have games that you can play offline, you don't have the connectivity issues, you have maybe like a portable charger, or like you're on your commute in the train and there's like a charging port nearby, then most of these issues are eliminated and it's still fine. But if you want to let's say for me, it takes me 2 hours by train to go visit my mom, so I would like to play a game in those 2 hours, I will 9 out of 10 times actually not bring my Steam Deck. It's bulky, it's big, it will not last to 2 hours, it will likely not connect to the internet. I'll just take my Nintendo Switch instead. So that is still easier. And it just seems like it's more optimized for on the go, whereas this is still pretty much like a tiny PC and it just needs a lot more resources to fully function to its like best capacity or whatever. So those are like my two issues. So that's why whenever I get so many questions from you guys asking if I would recommend the Steam Deck, yes, I would highly recommend it if you love to play PC games but you don't really like to play on your PC. If you love to play games that aren't on Nintendo Switch, you want to play them handheld. And if you are home, or you were a homebody like me, you're home a lot, or in the evenings you would love to like hang out on the couch, in your bed, on the toilet, wherever you want, and you want to play these games, highly recommend. However, if you're wanting to invest in a Steam Deck specifically for on the go outside of the house, take it with you, wouldn't necessarily recommend it just for that. If you're going to combine it and you can find easy solutions for those issues, go ahead, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it then. So that is basically it for my rant. My Steam Deck review after 1 year of having bought it. I still use it a ton. I love it so much, and I use it more than my Nintendo Switch. So this is why I actually love it more than my Nintendo Switch, and why I would say it's a must-have almost for any cozy gamer out there that loves to not game at their desk specifically. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to watch any of my other videos. I have a lot of Steam Deck game recommendations. I'll be making another one very soon. You can check out all of my social media in the description box down below. My camera battery is flashing at me, it's almost out. Okay, check out my description for all of the links. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.